Why, hello there. It is 87 days until Elden Ring comes out on February 25th, 2022, and this is the Elden Wait Countdown, where every day we read another item description from the network test until Elden Ring comes out, and on days like today, we talk about some Elden Ring news, and today we have a tweet, but not just the new screenshot, we have a little sentence, and we have a new video. Let's get into it. So the new Elden Ring tweet says, "Many roads lay open to those who search for the Elden Ring, and not all are paths of valor." And it sounds pretty straightforward that a lot of decisions will be made and that not all of them will necessarily be good ones. So nothing too big to unpack there, just that I'm excited to see. It's been talked about how the different Tarnished are like other protagonists and how there's different philosophies coming out. There's been a lot stressed about choosing your masters wisely, so I think there'll be some big decisions to make about who you side with and which philosophy you embrace for your character as you play through the game, and hopefully that will play into the endings in an interesting way. But let's talk about the video that is accompanying it. First, let's just watch the video because it's 14 seconds long and it's a good time. So there you have it. We have a familiar scene. We have seen this autumnal forest in the gameplay preview, where at the beginning you can actually see the steps that the character is walking on, and then we can sort of locate where this is by triangulating with the caldera, which is in the background, and we can relate that to being north of the Erd Tree and north of Stormvale, off to the east from this Duke's Archives looking castle that we've seen. And I think between the two Erd trees over here that it is the one further east. And the reason I think that is because the vertical relationship between the caldera and the minor Erd tree that we see feels like it fits more with the one further east. And then also there were just some landmarks and things that I can't quite square up if it was the closer minor Erd tree, and also if you look at the vista beyond to the west, you can't really see that castle or anything, and I think you would be able to see it if it was the minor Erd tree further west. So we know that there's some exciting large tentacly monsters walking around there below, and I actually think you pass by the minor Erd tree in the gameplay preview right here. So that's pretty cool. I think that's where you are down there, rummaging through that area, sneaking past those horrifying creatures. And the other interesting bit is that we have also seen this shot from a different angle that I'm not quite sure how it relates, but we see more of these like ghostly banners. And we saw that in the gameplay trailer, and we see them here now, so it seems to be a feature of the area. Otherwise, you have these windmills, which I just think look really cool, and we don't know much about this area, but it seems like perhaps they will start to show us a little bit more, and I love the look of this area. I think the Souls games have always had this autumnal feel, and this is just leaning all the way into it, and I think it looks beautiful. And that is the latest new Elden Ring tweet information. I wonder if we'll get more videos. That would be kind of exciting, although I am nervous to see too much, but this is sort of recontextualizing something familiar, so I think it's pretty cool. But now let's get into the item description for today. And if you think the time of day changes and that my clothes change in minor ways, it's not true. It's a lie. It's a trick of the eye. I did not originally film this video earlier and then add in this new information when it dropped. Not true. And today's item is the Briars of Sin spell. And the item description says, an aberrant sorcery discovered along with red glintstone by those exiled to the north for their crimes. Summons large thorns from a whirl of bloodshed by one's own hand in penance for sins. This sorcery can be cast repeatedly. The Academy reviles this sorcery, which draws its power from faith. So the first thing I want to point out is that it says it was discovered in the north with red glintstone by exiled criminals. It makes me wonder if these are the exiled prophets who foresaw their faith ending in flames. And I don't just wonder that because it says exile, but also because of its connection to flames. I noticed with the Briars of Sin spell that it has the same sigil as the Feast Upon Flame incantation. Feast Upon Flame is an incantation from the Fire Monks, who are guardians of the giant's Flame of Ruin who are turned into worshippers of the flame. And it just so happens that the Northern Mercenary Ashes tell us that Northern mercenaries carry the blood of giants in their veins. So we have a presence of giants lineage in the north, a spell that uses faith and bears the sigil of an incantation from fire monks who guarded the Flame of Ruin who came to worship it, and it is a spell in which you pay penance for your sins. I would say the Briars of Sin spell definitely has a connection to the fire monks, and probably has a connection with the giant's Flame of Ruin, and that red glintstone is also likely to have a connection with the Flame of Ruin. I also want to mention that while the location and wares of NPC merchants have been altered, that Selen has this spell, and reveals to us when we meet her that she was exiled from the Raya Lucaria Academy as a reviled apostate witch. And in the Briars of Sin item description it says the Academy reviles this sorcery. So perhaps Selen was among those sent north, exiled for her crimes. So there you have it, the Briars of Sin spell, which I think is a great item description because once you start to connect these dots, it sort of implies a story, and then we can sort of confirm and see how it pans out once we have these pieces together. But I'm loving how you have these things like the sigils, which can help give some like lore or background, because it was simply through seeing that the Briars of Sin and the Feast Upon Flame had the same sigil, and that tells us something about the origin of these two magical things. And so there you have it, day 87, the Briars of Sin spell. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, and if you want to continue to get item descriptions and then get tons of lore stuff after the release of Elden Ring, consider subscribing to the Lore Hunter. Thanks for watching.